Hi again. This is our second brief lecture related to Chapter 8. Our Chapter 8 has to do with planning processes and the planning techniques, planning development. Hi
Before
again.
I
This is our
begin
second
with
brief
discussions
lecture
of the
related
different
to Chapter
types
8.
of plans,
Our Chapter
as
8
well
has
as
to
the
do with
different
planning
approaches to
processes
planning,
and planning techniques,
I am just
planning
going to
development.
revisit the
Before I
planning
begin
process
with
again,
discussions
because
of
I
the
want to
different
ensure that
types
you
of
fully
plans,
understand
as well as
that
different
as we go
approaches
on.
to
The
planning.
planning process,
I am
as we
just
said,
going to
starts with
revisit
defining
the
our
planning
objectives.
process
Essentially,
again
they are
because I want to
where
ensure
we
that
would
you fully
like to be.
understand
We're
that
not
as
there
we
yet.
go on.
These are
The
goals,
planning process, as we
aspirations,
said,
objectives
starts
that
with
we want
defining
to
our
actually
objectives.
essentially they
Fulfill
are
in the
where
future.
we
So the
would like
first
to be.
basic
We're not
step
there
of
yet.
any
These
planning
are
process
goals,
is
aspirations,
determining
objectives
where
that we want to
actually
where we want to go in the
fulfill
future.
in the
I
future.
said one
So
of
the
the
first
objectives
basic
for
step of any
you as a
planning
student right
process
now
is
would be
determining
graduation. That's
we
where you
want
see
to be,
yourself.
where
That
we
is
want
the
to go
vision.
in the future.
I want to
I said one of
graduate.
the
And then the next step is to determine where you are
as a
in
student right now
relationship
would
to
be
this. So it's
graduation.
where I
That's
want
where
to
you
go.
see yourself.
And the
That is
second
the
step
vision.
is where do I
want to
stand now?
graduate.
Where am I?
Then the next step is to
determine
where you are in
relationship
what
to this.
sorts of things
where
do I
I
need
want
to
to
do
go
to accomplish
and the
that
second step is
objective.
where do
What
I
do I
stand
do
now?
well
Where
and
am
what
I?
do I
How
perhaps
far away
not
from that
do so well?
objective
That's
am
looking
I?
at myself
What sorts of
internally
things do
and
I need
deciding
to do
where
to
I am right
accomplish
now.
that objective?
Determining where
What
I
do
am
I
right
do
now.
well and what do I
After
perhaps
that, we
not
look
do
at
so
the
well? That's
environment,
looking at myself
and that helps us
internally
to
and deciding
appreciate and
where I
understand
am
what's
right now.
going on in our
Determining
world,
where I am
what's
right
likely
now.
to help us
After
to get
that,
where we want to
look
go,
at the environment
and what's likely to
and
present
that helps
an
us
obstacle.
to
This is
appreciate
a
and understand
really
what's
important
going on in
stage
our world
because it
what's
helps us
likely
to
to
help us
plan
to
for
get where we want to
potential
go,
eventualities,
and
and we're
what's
going to see
likely
a
to
little bit
present an
of that when
obstacle.
we discuss
This is
or
a
we discuss in
really,
the
really
second brief
important
lecture
stage
things
because
like
it helps us
contingency
to
planning
plan
and
scenario
for potential
planning. So we look
eventualities, and
for
we're going to
future
see a little bit
conditions of
and
that
try
when we
to
discuss or we
anticipate
discuss in the
those,
second brief
plan for
lecture
those.
things like
And then the
contingency
next
planning
step is to
and scenario
analyze,
planning.
evaluate
So we
all
look
the
for
possible
future
approaches, all the
conditions
possible,
and
for
try
example,
to
in your graduation
anticipate those,
objective, all the types
plan
of
for
classes.
those. That
And then
we
the
can
next
take
step
all
is
the
to
different
analyze,
courses,
evaluate
all the
majors
possible
and
approaches,
minors,
all the possible,
and
for
determine
example, in your
what is the
graduation
best
objective, all the types
plan
of classes
for you.
that
What
we
are the
can
best
take,
steps?
all the different
How are we
courses, all
going
the
to
different
realize
majors
that
and minors,
objective and determine what
and
is the
do
best
those
plan
steps accordingly
for
to
you? What are the best
effectively
steps? How are we
realize our
going to
objective. So that's what you
realize
go.
that
You look at all of these potential
and
steps,
do
and you
those
choose
steps
the ones
accordingly
that are going to be
effectively
effective
realize
for
our
you
objective.
based
So that's
upon
what
where
you
you are,
look at
what you
all of
can
these
do and cannot do,
potential
and
steps,
what
and
is
you choose
in
the
your
ones
environment.
that is how am I going to get there? So the first part is
based upon
where do I want to go?
what you
Secondly
can
is
do and
where do I
cannot do,
stand
and
right
what
now?
is
Thirdly
in
is how
your
will I
environment.
get to
That
my
is
goal? How
and
am
the
I
fourth
going to get
deal
there? So the
is
first part is
implementing the
where do I
plan,
want to go?
evaluating
Secondly
results.
is
The
where
last
do I
step
stand
that
right
has to
now?
do with
Thirdly
how
is how will I
know
get to my
when
goal?
I
And
have
the fourth
achieved my
deal
goals, and
is
how will I know if I am
plan,
on the path
evaluating
to
results.
achieving
The
my
last
goals?
step
Am I
that
following my
has to do
plan
with
effectively?
how will I know
That is the
when
decision
I have achieved my
the
goals,
planning
and
process.
how will I know if I am
As
on the path
it
to achieving
relates
my
to
goals?
beginning
Am I
from your
following my
objectives
plan
and ending
effectively?
in your
That
your
is the decision
implementation.
the planning
And then
process as it relates to beginning from your objectives and ending in your implementation.
And then also we can look at the relationship again between planning and the other management stages or management functions. And we said planning allows us to set
Also,
that
we can
direction.
look at the
That
relationship
then
again
influences
between
the type of
planning
organizational
and
structures
the other
we create,
management
how
stages or
we
management
will actually
functions.
go
We said
about
planning allows us to
realizing
set
those
that
objectives.
direction.
What are the steps that we'll
then
take? What will it look
influences the
like?
type of
It also
organizational
provides us with some
structures
level
we
of
create,
motivation
how we
and
will actually
incentive. If
go
you remember,
about
planning gives
realizing
us
those
action,
objectives.
what are the steps that we'll take? What
And
will
in
it
terms of
look like?
organizing,
It also provides us with some level of
and then
motivation and
it
incentive.
helps us.
If you
It gives
remember,
us the
planning
ability
gives
to
us
coordinate and
action
control our
orientation
activities.
and in terms of
evaluate
organizing, it gives
whether
us
or
that
not we're
focus
doing
and that
what we're supposed to
flexibility.
be doing,
And then
take
lastly,
corrective
it
action
helps us.
as
It gives us the
necessary. So
ability
planning
to
coordinate
influence
and
the
control
whole
our
management
activities.
process.
So I just wanted
Evaluate
to whether or not we're doing what we're
remind you of
supposed to
this
be doing
before
and
we
take
go on in
corrective
this
action
chapter.
as necessary.
So let's go on.
Planning influences the whole management
And we're going
process.
to look
I just
now
wanted
at
to
types of plans.
remind
And if I
you of
asked
this
you,
before we go on.
basically,
What are
in this
your
chapter.
goals in terms
let's
of your
go
life?
on.
Many of you will speak about goals that you
And we're
hope
going
to
to look
achieve
now
maybe
at
in the
types
next
of plans.
year or 2
And
years.
if I asked you,
that is very
basically,
common,
what are your
especially
goals
for college
in
students
terms of your
because
life?
you
Many
seem
of
to
you
live
will
in the
speak
here
about
and now.
goals
That
well,
you
there are
hope to
different
achieve
types
maybe
of
in the
plans,
next
and just
year
like
or
you,
2
businesses
years.
have
That is very
short-term
common,
plans, which typically
especially
cover
for
about
college
1
students
year or
because
less,
you seem to
and
live
they
in
have
the here and
long-term
now.
plans where they're
Well,
looking
there are
into
different
3 or
types
more
of plans,
years.
and just
Universities,
like you,
for example,
businesses
have
short-term and
short-term
long-term
plans,
plans.
which
There are things
typically
the
cover about
University
1
Xavier
year or
wants to
less,
do for this year
and they have
coming.
long-term
And we have
plans where
plans
they're
that we
looking
want to
into
achieve in
3 or
maybe the
more
next 3
years.
to 5 years.
Universities,
The
for
Division of
example, have
Business, which
short-term
I am
and
part
long-term
of.
plans. They
We
have
have things the
plans
University
for the
Xavier
following
wants to
year.
do
There are
for this
certain
year coming,
courses that
and
we
we
want to
have
create,
plans that
maybe
we
an
want to
MBA
achieve in maybe the
program that
next
we want to
3 to
devise
5
and have
years.
up and
The
running
Division
in the
of
next
Business,
year.
which I
But
am
in
part
3
of,
years,
we
we
have
look
plans
for the
towards
following year.
maybe
There are
creating
certain
courses
courses
that
that
we
we
want
want
to
to
create,
create,
maybe an MBA
perhaps
program
having
that we
more
want to devise and
international
have up and
programs
running in
and
the next
devising
year.
an international
But in 3
center.
years, we
Those
look
are our
into
types of
towards maybe
long-term
creating
plans. You're going to have an
ourselves as a
opportunity
college
to
of
tell me a little
business,
bit about
perhaps
that in
having
the
more
discussion
international
forum for
programs
this
and
chapter.
devising an international center. Those are our
Most
types
of us, as I said, we look
long-term
kind of in the
plans. You're going
short
to have
term,
an
maybe 3
opportunity
months.
to tell me
Few
a
of
little bit
us
about
a
that
year.
in the
But
discussion
very few of us
forum
look at
for
20
this
years.
chapter.
Almost nobody
concerns themselves with
Most
plans
of us,
for
as I
20
said, we
years.
look
And
kind of in the
that's not
short term,
necessarily
maybe
a bad
3
thing,
months.
especially
Few
in
of us a
today's
year.
volatile
Very
environment.
few of us look
Used
at
to
20
be
years.
that
Almost
firms, when they
nobody
created strategy, and we're going to
concerns
talk a little
themselves
bit
with
about
plans
that
for
in a
20
minute.
years.
When
And
firms
that's not
create
necessarily a
strategies
bad
was
thing,
created
especially
as
in
a
today's
20-year plan.
volatile environment.
That's a little bit
Used to be that
nonsensical,
firms, when they
especially in
created
today's
strategy, and we're going
environment.
to
The
talk a
amount
little
of
bit about
change, we
that in a
talked about
minute.
the level
When
of
firms create a
uncertainty
strategy
that
was
had
created
related
as a
to
20-year
the
plan.
rate
Well,
of change
that's
and
a
the
little
level of
bit
complexity, and that's
nonsensical,
very
especially
high
in
for
today's
many
environment.
industries
The
and
amount
many
of change,
firms
we
in
talked
those
about the
industries.
level of
And so firms
uncertainty
are
that had
shortening
related to
their time
the
span
rate
of
when they
change and the
plan.
level
So
of
20
complexity.
years
That's
is
very
kind of
high
out.
for
Maybe
many
5
industries
years
and many
is the
firms
new
in
long
those
term,
industries.
and maybe even
so
3
firms
years is the
are
new long term for
shortening
many
their
organizations.
time span when they plan. So 20
I just
years
mentioned
is
the term
out.
strategic
Maybe
plans.
5
You may have
years
heard
is
this
the
term
new long
used
term,
many times,
and maybe even
especially
3
in
years
sports
is the new long term
or
for
even
many
in war.
organizations.
You will hear coaches and leaders
I
talk
just
about
mentioned the term
strategies. Well, a
strategic
strategic plan or
You may have heard
strategy
this
is
term
a
used
set of
many
broad,
times, especially in sports
comprehensive,
or even in war.
long-term
You will hear
action,
coaches
directions
and
for
leaders
the
talk about
entire
strategies. Well, a
organization. Whether that
strategic plan or
organization be a
strategy
team,
is a
the
set of
organization
broad,
be a military
comprehensive,
unit, or the organization be,
long-term
in this case, a
action,
business
directions for the
organization.
entire
What it says there,
organization.
it's a set of
Whether that
broad,
organization be a
comprehensive.
team,
Comprehensive
the
means that
organization
it covers
be a
the
military
entire
unit, or the organization be,
So,
in
for
this case,
example,
a business
Xavier
organization.
University, what it says
As an
there, it's a set of
organization
broad,
has a
comprehensive.
strategic plan.
Comprehensive
It
means
has
that
a vision
covers
and a mission for the
entire
entire
organization.
organization.
So, for
Where does
example,
Xavier University
want to
as
be
an
in the
organization
future?
has
And
a
what
strategic
what is
plan.
it going
has
to
a
take,
vision
and what
and
will
a
it
mission
do
for the
as it
entire
tries to
organization.
accomplish
Where
that
does
vision,
Xavier
the mission,
University
if you will, of
want
Xavier
to
University
be in the
Why
future?
do we
And what
exist?
it is, what
And
is
that
it going to
strategy
take, and
is
what
what
will
will
it
it
do
do
as it
university.
tries to
It is a
accomplish
plan that we
vision,
have
the
that the
mission, if you
entire
will, of Xavier
university should
University.
be
Why
working
do
towards.
we
When you
exist?
think about an
And that
organization,
strategy is
like
for the
Amazon.
entire
Amazon has set
university.
itself
It is a
very,
plan
very
that we have
challenging and
that the
ambitious
entire university
mission
should
to
be
be the
working
number
towards.
one
When you think
global
about an
marketplace
organization
in the
like
entire
Amazon,
world. Amazon
and
has
so
set
in order
itself
to
a
do
very,
that, it
very
is going to
challenging
have
and
to
ambitious
mission
rely
to meet
on
the
all of its
number
different
one
parts
global
of the organization
marketplace
that we'll talk
in
about
the
in a little
entire
bit,
world.
to ensure
And so in order
that
to
it
do that, it
reaches
is
that
going
very
to have to
challenging goal.
or
Its
rely
strategy is
on
then
all of its
based
different
upon
parts
the
of the
entire
organization that we'll talk about in a little bit.
When I
to
do
ensure
when I teach
that
business strategy,
it reaches that
and
very
some of you will take it if
challenging
you are in
goal.
the division of
Strategy
business.
is then
I let
based upon
my
the entire
students use a
organization.
company, a
When I
fictitious company,
company, but they have to set a strategy,
a
and some of you will take
plan
it if
of
you are in the
action
division of business.
for an organization.
What do you want this organization to be? Do you want it to be the innovator in the market? Do you want it to come out with long-term plan of action
of products
for an organization?
Do you want it to be the cost
What do you want this organization to be? Do you want it to be the innovator in the market? Do you want it to come out with the most affordable
and
product?
best types
Or do you
of
want
products?
it to be
Do you
the
want it to be the cost
customer-oriented
leader? Do you
company
want it to
that be the organization that gives companies, gives consumers the most affordable
and
products?
that plan,
or do you
that
want
strategy,
to be
in
the
essence, is a
direction
direction
for the
that
entire
creates
organization?
customized
Every
products
part
for
of the
specific
organization
types
has to
of
work
consumers,
and contribute
and that
to
plan, that
realizing
strategy, in
that
essence, is a
comprehensive
direction
plan.
for the
And
entire
the last
organization.
aspect is the
Every
long-term
part of the
direction, the
organization
long-term
has to
orientation.
work.
Strategies
and
are
contribute
normally
to
not realized in a
realizing
few months.
that
They
comprehensive
take
plan.
years.
And
to
the last
actually
aspect is
be
the
accomplished
long-term
because
direction, the long-term
they require
orientation.
intensive
Strategies are
resources,
normally
and because
not
many
realized
times
in
the
a few
initial
months.
investments
They take
do not
years
bring
to
about
actually
direct
be
specific
accomplished
rewards.
because
They take
they
some
require
time
intensive
to materialize
resources
into
and
rewards.
because
That's
many
why a
times the
strategy
initial
is not for
investments
today,
do not
but it is
bring
not
about
to see the necessarily
direct
the benefit of
specific
today,
rewards.
but it is
They
for the
take some
long term. Think
time
about it in
to
terms of a game
materialize
plan
into
You
rewards.
see
That's why a
coaches
strategy
running
is
certain
not
game
for
today,
today,
but it
plays
is not
in a
to see the
game,
necessarily
doing
the benefit
certain
of
things.
today. But
All
it
of
is
that
for
is
the
meant
long
to,
term.
at
Think
the
about
end of the
game
plan,
when all the
you see
plays have been
coaches
finished,
running certain
that the
game
organization, that team
plays
will
in a
win.
game.
So you
Doing
don't
certain
necessarily
things.
see
All of that is meant
the
to, at the
benefits
end
of
of
a
the game,
strategy
when
in
all the plays have
early
been finished,
parts
that
or
the
phases of a
organization,
game,
but
that
you
team
should see
will
the benefit
win.
at the end.
So you don't
A good
necessarily
example of
see
this, I don't know,
the
many of you might be too
benefits
young
of a strategy
to remember this,
in
but
the early
Muhammad Ali,
parts or
very, very
phases of a game, but
famously
you
fought
should see
George
the benefit
Foreman.
at the end.
I believe it was in
A
the
good example of this, I
1970s,
don't know, many of you
and
might be
he
too young
beat
to
George
remember this,
Foreman.
but
It was called the
Muhammad
Rumble in
Ali,
the Jungle.
very, very
He beat George
famously
Foreman.
fought
He
George
used a
Foreman.
specific
I
strategy
believe it was in
that
the
has become somewhat
1970s
famous
and
in
beat
boxing. It was called
George
the rope-a-dope.
Foreman. It was called
And
the
in
Rumble
the early
in the
rounds
Jungle.
of that,
He beat
that
George
boxing
Foreman.
match,
He
Muhammad
used a
Ali
specific
basically
strategy that has
lay
become
on the
somewhat
ropes,
famous
protected
in
himself by
boxing. It was
George
called the
Foreman
rope-a-dope.
punched the living
And in the
daylights
early
out of him.
rounds of
The reason that he
boxing
did that
match,
was
Muhammad
to
Ali
basically
get George
lay
Foreman
on the
into a
ropes,
state of
protected
wariness.
himself by George Foreman was
Foreman
much
punched
stronger
the
than
living
Muhammad
daylights
Ali,
out of
but
him.
Muhammad Ali
The
was
reason
much
that he
fitter
did that
than
was
George
to
Foreman, and so Muhammad Ali
basically get
realized
George
that the
Foreman
best
into a
strategy,
state
the
of
best
wariness.
alternative or
George
plan of
Foreman
action
was
for
much
him
stronger
would
than
not be
Muhammad
to
Ali,
try to
but
beat
Muhammad
George
Ali was
Foreman
much
in the first
fitter
round,
than
go head
George
to head
Foreman,
with him.
and so Muhammad
But was
Ali
to try to
realized
get
that
George
the best
Foreman
strategy, the best
alternative or
possible,
plan
and
of
he
action
did
for
that,
him
and
would
he
not be
saw
to
the
try to beat
benefits
George
of it in the
Foreman in the
later
first
rounds
round,
where
go head to head
he
with
was
him,
able
but was
to
to
knock
try
George
to get
Foreman out. But
George
if you were
Foreman
looking
as
at it
wary
in the
as
initial rounds, you
possible.
would think,
And
oh,
he did
Muhammad
that,
Ali's doing
and he
terrible.
saw the
Well,
benefits
it
of
was
it in
his
the
strategy.
later
It
rounds
was
where
a
he was
long-term strategy.
able
He
to knock George
sacrificed the
Foreman out. But if you were
short-term
looking
gain
at it
in order
in
to
the
get the
initial rounds, you
long-term
would think,
benefit.
oh, Muhammad Ali's doing terrible.
Well,
In
it was
order,
his
as we
strategy,
said,
and it was a
strategies are
long-term
comprehensive
strategy.
plans,
He
and they are then
sacrificed the
therefore
short-term
comprised
gain in order
of
to get the
all the
long-term
different
benefit.
parts of the organization working together. And so therefore, in order to
As
realize,
we said, strategies are
strategic
comprehensive plans,
and
and
they
they
are
are
then therefore
each
comprised
one of these specific parts,
all the different
they
parts
have
of
to
the
play a
organization
part. And
working
they
together. And so
normally
therefore,
have
in order
their
to
individual
realize
plans,
these
that
strategic plans, these
contribute
long-term
to the
plans,
strategic plans,
each
and those
one
are
of
called
these specific
tactical
parts,
plans.
they
So
have to
tactical
play a
plans
part, and they
are
normally
the
have their
specific
individual plans
of the
that
different
contribute
parts of the
to the
organization
strategic plans,
that
and those are
help
called
or contribute to
tactical
the
plans. So
overall
tactical
strategic
plans,
plan.
and if you want to think of it in terms of, again, sports teams, you might
different
see,
parts
let's
of
say
the
LSU or the
organization
New Orleans
that
Saints,
help
the head coach
contribute
has
to the
a
overall
general
strategic
strategic
plan.
plan, and if you
for
want
the
to think of it in
entire
terms of,
football
again,
team.
sports
But each
teams,
one,
you
each
might
area
see,
of the
let's
team,
say LSU
they will
or the
have
New
their
Orleans
own
Saints,
plans, and
the
those
head
plans
coach
should
has a
contribute
general
to the
strategy
general
for the
strategic
entire
plan that the head
football team.
coaches. So
But
many
each
special
one,
teams,
each
they
area
have their
of
plan.
the
The
team,
defensive
they will have their own
players
plans,
have a
and
plan.
those
The
plans should
offensive players have a
contribute
plan.
to
All
the
of those
general
tactical
strategic
plans,
things
that
that
will
will
be
be
done.
done.
So maybe
to
special
contribute
teams,
to the
they have
general
their plan. The
strategic plan.
defensive
If they're done
players have
effectively,
a
then
plan.
they
The
will
offensive
help
players
the
have a plan.
organization
All of those
further their
tactical plans,
strategic
things that will
activity.
be
They will help the
done
organization
to
to realize
contribute to the general
their
strategic
goals.
goals.
Think
If they're
about it in
done
terms of
effectively,
Xavier
then they
University.
will
We're made
help
up of
the
different
organization
colleges,
right?
further
And
their
each one of those
strategic
colleges will have their
activity. They will
own
help the
tactical
organization
plan.
to
They will have their their own tactical
their
plan and
strategic goals. Think
following
about it in
those
terms of
plans,
Xavier
doing certain
University.
things in
We're
their
made up of
colleges
different
will help
colleges,
Xavier
right?
University
And each one
to
of those
realize
colleges
its
will have
vision,
their own
its
tactical
strategic
plan.
It will have their own
In an
tactical plan.
organization, normally
Following
the
those
areas
plans,
or the
doing certain things in their colleges
will help
the
Xavier
parts of
University
the
to realize
organization
its vision,
that follow
its
tactical
strategic plans.
plans are the
In an
functions of the
organization,
organizations. For
normally the
example,
areas
the
or the
production function or finance. facilities,
the
logistics,
the
organizations,
all of
that
these
follow
are
functional
tactical
areas.
plans,
Are the functions of the organization. For example, the production function or finance, facilities, logistics, marketing. In the organization, all of these are functional areas to create and sell valuable products and services. Functions, and they will have specific activities, things that in the organization that help the organization follow to create that will lead to the sell valuable products and services of the organization. And they will have Apple has a strategic plan that they will number one innovator, let's say in the tablet that will lead to the strategic success the marketing department, the marketing function of Apple has a strategic plan to be the number one innovator, let's say in the tablet industry. The marketing department, the way that it markets the product, that the approach to marketing, in terms of the way it advertises, the types of the general strategic plan. If you want to think about this term, is the way that it markets the product, so the entire military will have a strategy. This is what we're going to do in order to strategic plan. If you want to think about this term, is often used in the different parts of the military. The entire military, they will all have a strategy. This is what we're going to do in order they will do individually. That will contribute to the general strategic plan. And the different parts of the Air Force will come in, perhaps bomb, and then the infantry will march in after that. They will all have their plans that will contribute to the strategic. That will contribute to the general strategic plan. So the Air Force will come in and perhaps bomb, and then the infantry will march in after that. They will all have their plans that will contribute to the organization. Think about strategic is together kind of like transformers, if you will, to realize the tactical plans, a general strategic plan. Individual plans of the parts, and then even at a lower level, below the together plans is the operational plans, and whereas tactical plans are for one specific unit in the organization. Operational plans, and then even at a lower level, below the tactical plans, the operational plans. Those are whereas tactical plans are for one specific unit what do we need to do to keep this operational parts of even smaller subunits? And so we talk about things like policies, which are kind of those guidelines for doing the things. Short-term plans. What do we need to do to keep this procedures and budgets by day? They keep us. And so we talk about things like policies, which are kind of guidelines for doing the things. These are really the nitty-gritty things like how do we teach classes, the number of online classes we're offering, the types of courses we're offering, how do we go about grading and making sure certain things like how do we teach classes, the number of online classes we're offering, daily activities that don't seem very, how do we go about grading and making sure students are being recruited effectively. All of these definitely contribute to the overall strategy. So it kind of goes like this at the very top, very attractive, but don't seem very strategic. We have our tactical, necessarily which is made up strategic, but definitely contribute to the overall strategy. So it kind of goes like this. At the very top, we have strategic, that's the hierarchy, so sub-units. Below that, we have our tactical, which is made up of, think about them as the soldiers below that, even below they follow the orders of the tacticians above them that follow the orders of the strategic. So we have at the very top of the military, you have the soldiers, the president tells the commanders, they follow the orders of the tacticians above them that follow the orders of whoever's leading those men. So we have women on the very top of the military, what needs to be done, the president tells by day, hour by hour, in order to realize the officers or the sergeants, whoever's leading those men and women on the field, specifically what needs to be done day by day, hour by hour, in order to realize that we can actually use when we're planning. One of them is forecasting, and it's basically an attempt to predict there are certain types of we're always trying to do that we can actually use when we plan. It helps us when we plan. One of them is forecasting, and it's basically an attempt to reduce the level of uncertainty. We're always trying to do that in business. It helps us to be somewhat more prepared by predicting the future is going to happen. So many times when we're going to reduce the level of uncertainty in our environment, to get an idea about what we should expect. Well, one way of doing that is to kind of go when we're going to use qualitative territories. We're trying to get an idea about what we should expect. It's asking those. One way of doing that is to kind of go through about these things, qualitative forecasting, them what they think we should do and what is the best opinion. It's asking the most likely scenario for what we're
attempting about these things. So that's what we're doing when we forecast should do, and what is the best forecast.
So let's say you were
or the most
likely
scenario
business
for what we're attempting to
opening up a business.
So
in
that's
New Orleans,
that's what we do when
was
we
a
forecast
restaurant in New Orleans.
Qualitative
well, you
forecast.
might go
So let's say you
to
were
someone
thinking about
who
opening
knows
up
a little bit about the
and you were
restaurant
thinking about
industry,
opening up a business in New Orleans, let's say
in this part of the world,
and
it
you
was a
might talk
restaurant
to them
in
and
New
say,
Orleans.
tell me about what's
you
going
might
on
go
here. Tell me
to
about the
someone
kinds of trends
who knows a
that are
little
like
bit
that.
about the
What do you think is going to
restaurant
happen to
industry,
demand for this
market
type of
food
in this
year,
part of the world?
And you
The
might
customers
talk to them and say,
liking this,
what's going on
what
here.
do they
Tell me
need?
about the kinds
That's
of
using an
trends
expert.
that are like that.
Oftentimes you
is going to
use
happen
an
to
expert
demand for this
when
type
you
of
don't
food
have
next year.
a lot of
information, you don't have data, you don't have access to
what do they
so
need?
You kind of use when
That's
a
using an
situation is
expert.
new, perhaps,
Oftentimes you
when
use an
there
expert
aren't that much,
when you
there
don't
isn't that much
have
information
a lot
available,
of information,
you don't have data, you don't have access
or
to that.
rely,
So
I should say,
use
upon
when
experts.
a situation is
But
new,
many times
organizations
there aren't
now,
that much, especially,
there isn't that much
utilize
information
and the
tend
data
to
that they have
fall,
access to, and they
or
do
rely,
some
I should say, upon experts.
But many times
organizations
now, especially, and in this class, I demonstrate to my students
that they
how
have
they can
access
create
to, and they do some measure of
models
quantitative
to help
forecasting. Right now, I'm teaching a class on quantitative
decide,
and in this
where
class, I
demonstrate to my students how they can create mathematical
So, for example,
when businesses choose
where they will
help
locate
decide
their new operations, let's say in that restaurant,
when
Denny's is trying to determine
for example,
where in New Orleans
when
it wants to
businesses
open
choose
its next location,
where they will
well, they can
locate
go ask an expert,
their
new
ask
operations, let's say in
that
that restaurant,
in this,
when Denny's is
area
trying to determine where
had
in
a
New Orleans
franchise
it wants to
before,
open its
find out what
next
they think is the
location.
best case.
Well, they can go ask an
but
expert,
most
they can
times
go
they will
ask
use
someone
mathematical
in,
modeling, and they would have devised perhaps a mathematical formula
had a franchise
based
before,
upon things
find
like
out what
the
they
number
think
of
is the best
consumers
place,
but most times they will use mathematical modeling, and they would have devised perhaps a mathematical
other restaurants, competitors, as well as other
things like
and they will devise this mathematical model
to help them
they
to
might look at income levels,
where
they might
is
look
the
at
best
proximity
place
to
to
other
predict
restaurants,
what is
competitors,
most
as
likely
well
to
as other
happen if
Denny's,
they were to
and they will
locate
devise
their
this
Denny's
mathematical
in X
model
or
to
located
help
in
them
Y.
to forecast.
We live in New Orleans, so
where
many
is
times
the
you
best
will
place
have
to predict
what is most
with
likely to
hurricanes,
happen,
and
if
when
they
you
were
see
to
those
locate
models,
their
those
New Denny's
hurricane
in
models,
X
those
or located in
squiggly
Y.
spaghetti lines,
We live in New Orleans, so many
those
times you will have
and what they are
hurricanes, and when you see those models, those hurricane models,
they have
those
certain variables in place, and they
lines,
plug in information,
and that's
what
gives you those
and
lines.
what
It
they
basically
are, they are
tries to
based
or attempts to
upon
predict
mathematical
where
modeling. They
hurricanes
have certain
are
variables
likely
in
to go.
place,
So
and
that's
they
what
plug
we
in
do in
information,
forecasting. We're
and
trying
that's
to
what
determine
gives you those
what
lines.
is likely to happen
basically
in the
tries to
future.
or
So we're
attempts to
forecasting
predict
perhaps what
where
demand will
hurricanes
likely be.
are likely
We're
to go. So
forecasting
that's what we do
what
in
would be
forecasting.
perhaps
We're
the
trying
best
to determine what is likely to happen
what is
in the
likely to
future.
be
So we're
the
forecasting perhaps what
outcome in terms of
demand will likely be. We're
things of that
forecasting
nature.
what would be perhaps the
maybe
best
even forecasting what our competitors
location
are
likely
likely
to
be
we were
the,
to act in a certain way.
outcome in
That's
terms of
forecasting.
profitability.
That is trying to
things
determine
of that nature.
the
Trying
future,
to again
trying to
maybe
determine
even forecasting what our competitors
we can use
are likely
qualitative
to do. If
we
we can
were to
ask
act
someone,
in
we
a
can
certain
base
way.
our
That's
forecasting.
based our
That is
decision
trying
upon
to
some
determine
expert opinion,
the future.
or we can
Trying
try
to
to use
determine
information
what
in a
is
more
likely to
scientific
occur.
manner. We can use
qualitative.
to do that.
We can ask someone. We can
Another
base
tool that is often
based our
used in
decision
planning
upon
is what we
some
call
expert
contingency
opinion,
planning.
or
And
we
I
can
would
try to
assume
use
that a lot of
information
you
in a more
may
scientific
have
mathematical
contingency
model
planning
to do that.
or may have done contingency planning
Another
in the
tool
past.
that is often
what it
used
is
in planning is what we call
identifying
contingency
alternative
planning.
course of
I would
action
assume
to
that a
take
lot
when
of you
things go
may
wrong.
have contingency planning,
a quick or may have done contingency
an
planning
easy
in the
example
past.
of a
what it is
identifying
might be an
alternative
course
route.
of action to
Let's
take
say
when
you were
things
going
go
to
wrong.
a place, it was very
So,
important, and you had a specific route
an easy example of a contingency
in case
plan
something were
might
to
be an
happen at that
alternative
road.
route.
Let's say there was
Let's say you were going to a place that was very important
where the
and
road
you
was
had a
blocked,
specific
then
route
you
chosen.
had some
But in
alternative
case something
way
were to happen
to
at
get
that road, let's
to
say
your
there
final
was traffic,
destination.
or
That
there
is
was a
contingency
situation
planning. What
where
you're
the
doing
road
there is
was
you're
blocked,
trying to
then you had
anticipate
some
changing
alternative
conditions.
way.
So let's say
to
you get to a point
your
and
final
you realize,
destination.
oh, traffic's
that
backed
is
up.
contingency
Well, at
planning.
that
What
point,
you're doing there is
you're
you're
trying
trying to
anticipate
resort
changing
to your
conditions.
contingency
So let's say you
plan.
get to a point and you realize, oh, traffic's backed up.
Well,
at that point, it is called a trigger point. They will have a specific method of flying, a specific route, perhaps.
Okay,
but if things were to
go wrong if they were to lose an engine or something like that. They have plan B. They will have a specific method of flying, a specific route, because if they don't, then we are likely to go wrong if they were to lose an engine or something like that. So you want plan to have contingency plans. Hopefully they have plan B or plan C, because if they don't, then we are likely for eventualities and have things in place if they were to occur. Because if they don't prepare for those things in their planning, when or if those things occur, they will be unprepared, and they are likely to not act because if they don't prepare for those things in their planning, when or if those things occur, they will be unprepared, and they are likely some of those things may never happen wisely, but it is always good to have a backup plan. So contingency planning is key when you are making your initial plans. Some of those things may never happen, but it is always good to have a backup plan. And that's what you're doing this right now, especially in
scenario planning is
when
similar
environments are highly volatile. They're looking at things like contingency planning. What will happen to business companies are if doing the price right of now, oil especially stays the same when environments are highly volatile. They're looking at things like or what will happen to business if the price of oil stays the same, or if longer-term resort to more alternative energy, and that this were to occur, this is what will happen if the economic recession continues for 3 or 4 years. It is trying to create longer-term contingency plans. So if this were to occur, this is what we're doing. If that was to occur, as much as possible, the huge impacts that again organizations are attempting to do that to reduce the effect of smooth that out by having plans as much as possible, and also helping them to be more flexible so that when major changes in the environment can occur, they will be better prepared by having plans in place initially, and also helping them to be more flexible so that when or if these shocks occur, and those plans they will be better prepared and they will be more flexible, but they will have something in place already. So these are like more longer try to create or devise a plan reactively. And then benchmarking is another tool that organizations can use. It's using external and these are like more comparisons to plan for future improvement. And then benchmarking is another tool that organizations can use. It's using external and internal ways or approaches to plan certain things for future improvement. We often will look at those many times that are much trying to identify objectives or identifying types of goals that we should have. And we also look to those in our industry, in our environment, that have done things that are well, that are similar to us, call their best to identify types of goals that we should have. Things that people have done well in our industry, in our environment, that have done things well, and identify what we often call their best University, perhaps, their best when we are creating things that people are designing well, that have led to I try to do this myself. I will look at the best way of doing this, so that have really good classes when we are creating really good feedback and try to incorporate some of the things that they've done into my class. I will look at using best practices. That's helping me to plan really good class information that may come from within my organization, but oftentimes comes from outside into my classes. That's using best practices. That's trying to find things to measure utilizing information that may come from within my organization, but oftentimes comes from outside of my organization. So these are some of the examples of planning tools and techniques that managers can use against trying to give their organization to help with the standards that you will aspire to. So these are some of the examples of planning tools and techniques that managers can use in their organization to help with the planning process.